Hi, I haven't done a video on this slip stitching up the side yet, but I will get round to doing that for you. But I wanted to just give you some alternative ways of putting this piece together. This piece in video now is the piece that's done as per the pattern, apart from the edges where the smaller stitches I use the chain one as a stitch, and the pattern states not to do that. But as I've explained throughout, the reason I do that is to keep the edge straight, and it means that it's easier when you come to do the slip stitching, and it's easier when you come to put pieces together. There's a few little things I wasn't overly, me being a neat freak, happy with, and mainly they're at the top of the piece of work, to be honest. So if I can get it a bit closer for you, it might be helpful. Right, row 17, as per the pattern, this is the wrong side of the row. Okay, and it doesn't really have the neatest look about it. The pink row, which is row 18, is the right way around. So the pink row I'm not really, with my neat freakishness, concerned about, but the top row again is the wrong way, and if I turn the piece of work around I'll show you what I mean. On the neat side you have a nice neat V, and you know which side's facing you when you're working because the V's across the top of your row face you. So when the V's across the top of your piece of work are facing you, that's the right side of that row. Okay, and you can see the back of the pink row isn't particularly neat, so it's facing the right way, but the row below it and the row above it are effectively wrong side showing, and you can see it's not particularly neat done this way. So I had a bit tinker around. This piece here is the first row, the second row, the third row and the fourth row are all done as per pattern, but then I went a bit off piste when it came to doing the olive row, which I'll just double check. Yeah, the start of the olive row where we're changing the start of the olive row, which is row 4, rather than starting as per the pattern, I finished the colour off in the aqua and turned the work the other way, and did the olive row on the wrong side of the piece of work, the first olive row. Row 5 is right side facing. Then I did row 6 right side facing. I'll show you how I started each row because I've got a new neat little trick as well. So all these rows here are all done on the same side. They're all on the right side. I haven't swapped sides as you go through. I've done them all with the right side facing, and that includes these top rows, which you can see look very different. So the piece on the back here is the piece as per the pattern, and you can see the difference between this row, which is row 17, and this row 17 here. Row 18 is the same, but row 19 I've done it on the right side instead of the wrong side. Okay, so if you're a neat freak like myself, you may wish to have a tinker around. All the pattern, like I say, up to here is as per the pattern, but from here onwards I've changed it around. So all of these Catherine weaves are all done on this side. So this side of the work has always been, all your bobbles have been facing me the whole time I've done all of these rows. So I've done a row and finished it off and started a new one at this end. Finished it off at this end, wove it in, and then started again at this end for the next row. I did that the whole way up. So all these rows from there are all done on the right side, and you can see it does look a bit different. Not massively different, but it does look a bit different, especially those top 3 rows, which were bugging me ever so much. So I'll show you how I've been starting and finishing. So what I'll do for the purposes of showing you is just take this top fern row out, and I've just got the right size hook. Okay, because you will have to work into the pink row slightly differently. Okay, so for the pink row I started here and did everything as I showed you. I still chained 1, did a double in the next by missing a stitch, okay, all the way along. But then if I had followed the pattern, I would have had to flip my work over and do the next row that way. But as I've said, I've done all my rows on the right side facing. So to start, and this would be a really good point for, I think it was the part 2 where we were having issues with, some were having issues with starting the new colours in the round, and how you were having to chain 1 and then do a double crochet in the same place, and it was creating a bit of bulk. Doing this method avoids all of that, so I'll be testing it out on one of those later. So we create a slip knot just like we would as if we were going to start a chain, making sure our small tail is the bit that tightens this loop. And then you insert your hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up and complete a double. I've never known a quicker way to join. And then this end will just get woven in as it would any other end. Okay, so there's no chain to start here. It was straight onto the stitch. I'll just show you one more time what I did there. So I did a slip stitch on my hook to create a loop, and my small tail is the piece that tightens that loop up. Insert my hook into the first stitch, pull up your yarn as you would to do a double, yarn over. Now if you're doing a treble, it is a bit more fiddly, but you yarn over first, and you kind of have to lock the yarn in place with your forefinger. Then you would insert your hook, and keeping things as tight as possible, you do a treble, and it negates the need to have a chain. So if you're trying to avoid using chains, this is a method you could use to do that. Okay, but I'll take it out because we're not doing a treble, we're doing a double. So I'm loosening this stitch as I go. I'll tighten it up where I'm woven it in. So we're going to insert our hook into this very first stitch. Sorry, the door's banging again, folks. Pull up, complete as a double. No chains, no bulk. Okay, now because we're working on the right side of this piece of work, we're going to be working in a slightly different sort of way. So we're inserting into the chain space just the same, that's no different, but where we place our hook into the next stitch is where we need to be very careful. Okay, this here is the double, this is the actual post of the double stitch, and this space here is the top of that double. And that's where we need to place our hook when we're doing the stitch into the double on this row. Okay, so if I just tug, you can see exactly where I need to go. In that hole there, pull up, complete your double. Then into the chain space in the next one, and then again identify the top of that double stitch there, which is just off to the right because we're on the right side. Okay, and we just need to work like that all the way across, and it gives us exactly the same effect as doing it as per the pattern, but means that if you're a neat freak like me, you have a neater finish and all your rows look similar, and you have less chance of your colour popping through from the previous row. We're on row. Sorry, I keep getting my terminology mixed up today. Right, so I'm just going to keep going right across so you can see. So always identifying the top of that stitch being at just off to the right, so it's just there. So you're not splitting this double stitch at all, you're keeping it its shape. That's the shape we want if we want to have the desired effect and the aesthetic look that we have in the original pattern. So I'm not really changing the pattern, I'm just changing the way that we construct these particular rows so that it gives you the neatest finish you can have. I'm so sorry about the dog, folks. So I just go to the end. So if you just tug your work, the hole will automatically reveal itself. So you shouldn't be having to search for it. Okay, if you tug your work, that's the chain space there, and that there is the top of that stitch. We'll just work across like so. Right across to the end, making sure we put a stitch in that last one and finish. Okay, so the look is the same, the look isn't very different as far as the pink flashes are concerned, but the neatness, it makes a difference to this. You can very clearly see the aqua underneath between the backs of these stitches, whereas on the front of this one it's not as plain to see, and again it just looks that little bit neater if it's worked the way I've just shown you. So like I said, stick to the pattern, that's not a problem, but if you're a neat freak or a perfectionist like I am, from about this point I work all of this on this side only, on the right side only. I did not turn my work. This one was turned as per the pattern. This piece here is exactly as the pattern states. This piece here at the back, which is now at the front, it does look slightly different. So it's whatever floats your boat, whatever you're happiest with. So I hope that was helpful. Like I said, I've showed you a new neat trick on how to start a stitch without having to use a chain. And happy hooking. I will cover the slip stitches, but it might not be for a little while yet. So happy hooking, thank you very much, bye.